Hey everybody, Chris Negley with Elegant Estates. I wanted to do a quick video on weep holes in your vinyl siding. When we do soft washing, especially after the first day when it dries up, you may notice some brown streaks coming down your siding, and that's what I want to discuss with you today. So hang in there and we'll get into it. So we're doing this church project, and I did the backside yesterday afternoon, and it's pretty common, especially on projects that have not been washed in a while, where you'll get a little bit of streaking down your siding. So, and it's a little brown streaking, especially when it actually gets dry. So you'll notice there's some wet spots here. We actually did a little bit of rinsing, some more rinsing on these because of the weep holes. Now I'll go up to the larger section here because you're actually looking up, so you'll be able to see a little bit better. What weep holes are designed to do is any moisture that gets behind your siding, it's designed to allow the water to drip out so it doesn't create an issue behind your siding with mold and mildew, that kind of thing. So what happens is sometimes with wind, or sometimes you're forced to spray in a certain direction, you always want to spray your siding in the direction that your siding is lapped. So you'll notice right here, your siding, this siding piece is over this siding piece, so you want to spray your water in this direction right here. Unfortunately, sometimes wind will kick it back this way, or you're forced to stand in a direction where you're forced to spray in this direction. Or in our case yesterday, we were forced to spray up, so we are actually spraying into weep holes a little bit. Now, I don't know if the camera will pick this up. I'll get a little closer here. You'll actually notice small little holes, like right there. You'll notice one. They're little slits in the siding, and as you look up through there, you'll see little dots. Those are actually the weep holes. So what happens is any water that gets behind that, it'll pick up dirt and debris, and it'll carry it out to the weep hole into the face of the siding, so it'll drip dirty water out as you're rinsing. And unfortunately, you really don't notice it until it's dried up, and then the next day you're wondering, what that is on the side of your house. And usually it's just light brown water that comes out and kind of spreads out, and it'll just be staggered. You'll have one here, one up there, one over here, kind of thing. It's not an issue. It's not a big deal. It actually will wash off with a rainstorm, or a couple of rainstorms, or we can just come back and re-rinse that. But essentially, depending on the color of your siding, you won't even notice that there's an issue until it dries. So don't be startled if that happens. But you can see this way, obviously on this side, all of this siding is, they started the siding over here, and then they built their way that way. So you want to spray in this direction, so you're not spraying in behind the siding, if at all possible. So so that's that. And also another thing that you run into is what looks to be weep hole drip, and you can actually see right there next to this window here, just very faint little debris and dust that came out, and that just dripped out of that one weep hole right above it, and that's what you get. So again, not the end of the world. Rain will rinse that off, especially, and you'll notice it if you wash your house every year. It's usually not an issue, but these projects that are 10, 15 years sometimes in between washings, you'll get it. It'll be more prevalent. So now, that being said, sometimes in the mornings you'll actually have moisture. So you can see where this spot right here, there's some that are areas that are dry and some that are not. So the areas that are darker are still a little wet. So I tell people, not to freak out necessarily if they see some of their weep holes. They're just doing what they're designed to do and weep water. Some will end up dirty, some will not, and some will just be wet, and you'll think that it's going to stain, and it turns out that it doesn't. So So let everything dry up first, and then if it appears like it's still a little bit dirty, then you decide whether or not you want us to come back out and do a re-rinse or allow the rain to take it. But it's clean. The organic material is off of it, so that's not an issue. It's just a little bit of dust from behind the siding. So that is weep hole drip. It is an issue, especially if you haven't been washed in a while. It will happen. It happens to the best of us. But rest assured, it's not that big of a deal, and it's very easily resolved.